Hi, my name is Jess Lane, and this video is just kind of talking about different types of lines and kind of some of the properties and stuff about it and definitions of lines, because in geometry there's a lot of definitions and there's a lot of theorems, a lot of words in geometry. So this video is just kind of talking about lines. So first of all, we need to know that parallel lines are coplanar and they do not intersect. So parallel lines are coplanar and they do not intersect. Coplanar means they are in the same plane and they'll just never intersect, okay? So parallel lines. Arrows are used to indicate that lines are parallel. So to indicate that two lines are parallel, usually they have arrows on them like this, and then we can say that those two lines are parallel, because you'll have to do this when you're doing proofs. So if they have that on there, then you can state that those two lines are parallel, and that's given, and it would help you maybe prove something. The symbol for parallel lines is this. So if this was line L and this was line M, then I would say line L is parallel to line M. Okay, so that's the symbol for parallel. Parallel planes, all planes that are either parallel or intersecting. Parallel planes are two planes that do not intersect. So if I have a cube, parallel planes might be like this back plane and then the front plane, like the front of something and then the back side of something, like this little eraser. So parallel planes, this side and then this side are parallel. They're never going to intersect. Or planes intersect. So like this side intersects with this side. So we can use that for an example. Talking about parallel planes. Perpendicular lines. So perpendicular lines are lines that intersect to form a right angle. So we have this and we have that. So perpendicular lines, they intersect to form a right angle. And the symbol used for perpendicular is just that symbol. So if I said this was line L and this was line M, I would say line L is perpendicular to line M. And the symbol used for perpendicular lines, four right angles are formed. Four right angles are formed if they are lines. If it's just a line segment, then only maybe two, but here four right angles are formed when two lines intersect and are perpendicular. Oblique lines are lines that intersect but do not form a right angle. So these are oblique lines. And to say they're a line, we put arrows on the end. And then skew lines are two lines are skew if they do not intersect and are not in the same plane. So they're not non-coplanar. So they do not intersect and not in the same plane. So let's say this is a plane. So this would be skew to this one. It's not in the same plane. This one is in this plane, and this one's in this plane or this plane. So they can't be in the same, it's kind of hard to tell without my 3D shape. But skew lines are, they do not intersect and they're not in the same plane. And they're never going to intersect because they're not in the same plane. Okay, so they're skew. Two lines are parallel if and only if they have equal slopes. So parallel lines have equal slopes. So if I said the slope of one line is 2/7, the slope of its parallel line would also be 2/7. Okay, so parallel lines have the same slope. If I say they are perpendicular, perpendicular lines have opposite reciprocal slopes. So let's say the slope is 1/3. So a perpendicular line would have the reciprocal and then the opposite as well. So it'd be -3/1. Again, 2/3, so it's reciprocal and then it's opposite. If you start out with a negative, like -1/2, you do its reciprocal and then it's opposite, and so that one's positive. So those are perpendicular lines and how their slopes are compared. Thank you for watching. That is a little bit about lines.